So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Streets of New York, 1939. I hated this flick. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. It's about a Depression era Perry White from the 80s Superman, 70s to 80s Superman franchise. Perry White. I think he was in all three or four of them. He's he looks like a teenager in the Depression era, trying to survive by running a newspaper stand so he can save up money for his lawyer education. This is going to be another monogram flick. This is really poorly done. Um, the streets of it looks like public domain. I watched it on most movie posters, kind of lame. I watched it on Cult Cinema Classics. Not a good flick. Streets of New York is a 1939 U.S. film directed by William Nye. The film is also known as the Abe Lincoln of Ninth Avenue and the Abraham Lincoln of the Fourth Avenue. So Jackie Cooper looks up to Abe Lincoln for no apparent reason. The dictator president who invaded the South on the pretext of saving the Republican Party. And keeping the South from seceding from the foreign invader. Teenager Jimmy Keenan operates a newsstand, and Jimmy is studying to become a lawyer. He takes care of a crippled boy named Gimpy, whose mother has died. This is going to be like a do-gooder type of Depression era Christmas story, basically. Jimmy's brother, Tap Keenan, is a notorious criminal. A neighborhood gang led by Spike is trying to lead Jimmy into trouble. Gimpy and Spike's gang are arrested for gambling. Throwing dice on the street is going to get you jail time and reform school. Judge Carroll. Jimmy convinces Judge Carroll that Gimpy had not actually gambled and there was no evidence of money involved. The judge is impressed with Jimmy, and the judge releases the kids. Judge Carroll later learns that Jimmy is Tap's brother, and Judge Carroll urges Jimmy to continue to pursue his dream, hoping that he will not follow in his brother's path. Tap offers to finance Jimmy's education, and Tap wants Jimmy to work for him after graduating. Jimmy declines. Jimmy warns Tap not to contact him. So he's disowning his own brother because he's a criminal. Okay. That's real charity at Christmas time. After a Christmas gathering at Judge Carroll's home, Jimmy learns that Tap has killed a man, and Tap is hiding from the police. Spike taunts Jimmy. Spike mocks his mother. They fight. Jimmy returns to his room, but he finds Tap hiding there. So even though Jimmy tried to disown Tap, Tap showed up there anyway. It makes no sense. All right, Tap tries to convince Jimmy to help him escape, but Jimmy insists that Tap should surrender. As Gimpy enters, Tap shoots through the door. Tap injures him. So so Gimpy gets shot twice, and he's like a monk from Phantom Creeps. Nothing phases him. Jimmy wrestles with Tap, and the police arrest Tap several minutes later. After a few days, Jimmy is told that Gimpy will return later. And that's pretty much the movie right there. It was pretty painful, this one. It was It's a pretty decent 6.2 out of 10 IMDb, 185 ratings. Jimmy, an idealistic. That's not a good word. Maybe Jimmy, who's been led astray, and a hardworking young man, has just arrived in New York City with dreams of making his fortune. Oh, so he's a Horatio Alger in the Great Depression, Jimmy. Here's a more flattering review from uh, uh, Rosunsa. Rosunsa gives it a 7 out of 10. The review is dated October 19th, 2007, and the title of the review is Budding Lawyer Seeks the Means for Handling Spirited Charges, Young and Old. Fashions from a venture of several cinematic genres, this hybrid monogram picture's melodrama is perhaps most distinguished for its naturalistic development of key players, in particular the lead, Jackie Cooper, and talented child actor Martin Spellman. A remarkably mature 16-year-old Cooper performs as Jimmy Keenan, owner-operator of a busy New York City corner newsstand, while supervising a diverse collection of rambunctious newsboys, including the very young Gimpy Smith Spellman, whose abrasive veneer fails to cover his juvenile vulnerability, all while Keenan is attending night school. His purpose to become an attorney while adopting the ethical principles of his idol, Abraham Lincoln, the man who ordered Atlanta to be burned to the ground. The film's original title was Abraham Lincoln of Night Street, although Jimmy faces a violent foe in Spike Moore, David Durand, who intends to arrogate by force his street corner business and is additionally burdened with the unsavory reputation earned by Keenan's gangster brother Tap, Dick Purcell. He rejects all offers of assistance, instead facing up to Spike and his Confederates while looking after his youthful employees, along with elderly Pop O'Toole, George Cleveland, who lives in a room next to Jimmy's within the basement of the old house wherein the Keenan brothers had been raised. Artless in his resolution to do only what is morally correct, Jimmy nevertheless finds that it is increasingly difficult to pardon the sociopathic behavior of Tap and of Moore, so that in time he, Gimpy, and the other newsboys warmly welcome the kindness offered by Judge Carroll, George Irving, and his daughter Anne, Marjorie Reynolds. As the film moves towards a poignant conclusion. The supporting cast is comprised for its largest part of very competent players, while Cooper nearly forsakes all opportunities to emote, instead creating a noteworthy performance for one so young by playing the part of an older man, in clear contrast to later cinematic norms that determine actors will fill roles that are below their actual ages. The melodrama is capably directed without affection by old hand William Nye, and Harry Newman does all one might desire as cinematographer for production that, as with virtually all monogram pictures, is granted only sparse funding. Newly issued upon an Alpha Video DVD, there you go, public domain, that is not remastered. The film's general quality of both visual and audio reproduction is good with few skips. However, heavy cutting, particularly for the final scenes, becomes corrupted for such an episodic scenario as has this work. In spite of that, the piece is now available in a format that is well constituted as can be expected and will provide a viewer an opportunity to enjoy some strong, realistic, well photographed sequences. More like this, Putting on the Ritz, the widow from Chicago paid, and no more right holder to renew the film's copyright, resulted in it falling into public domain, meaning that virtually anyone could duplicate and sell a VHS DVD copy of the film. Therefore, many versions of this film available on the market are either severely and usually badly edited and or of extremely poor quality, having been duped from second or third generation or more copies of the film. Where have we heard that before? Release date April 12th, 1939 in the US. Country of origin US. Language English, also known as the Abe Lincoln of Ninth Avenue. Production company Monogram Pictures. Runtime 1 hour 13 minutes, 73 minutes. In glorious black and white, of course. The aspect ratio is 1.37 to 1. Not a great flick. I'm not really happy with this film. There are no redeeming qualities in any of the characters here. Pops is too cheap to buy a Christmas tree, so he ends up spending all his money on turkey. Gimpy doesn't want to take a bath, so Perry White throws him in the bathtub. And it's like this kind of thing. And so the judge invites the five kids, they're like the East End kids, over for Christmas with the young blondie niece of his. Wow, she's hot. They should have put her in the they should have put her in the in the entire movie. I might have given it a 2 out of 5. And so I guess the whole point of this movie is to have a nice Christmas with lots of gifts under the tree. With your young blondie niece, and be a government snitch on your brother. That's and worship Abraham Lincoln. That's the whole point of this film. If you're into that, by all means, check it out. Otherwise, I'm saying skip it. I had no interest in this film. I refused to participate any further. falls flat on its face, mainly because it's a low budget monogram film. Mean Streets for Jackie Cooper. Okay. Number one on my list is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2000, followed by St. Francis, 2002, and Weird Science, 1985. So I'm almost at the point of getting to some Karate Man recommendations finally. Now that we're in mid-March here, I got paid on Friday, but Fidelity took all of my remaining dividend to pay for margin interest, I guess. Of course, the stock market is tanking. I saw Miss Rebecca last night, and hopefully I'll see her on Friday for Stations of the Cross at St. Dominic's. That was exciting, but I'm going to try to get my ex-wife to let Rebecca move her furniture into my ex-wife's garage. Good luck with that. She had to sell her house in Outer Sunset, like five. It was four. She was living 4 blocks away from me. She had to sell her house. She got a hip replacement, and and it was a botched surgery or something. She should sue them for malpractice. Maybe she is. I don't know. She's unemployed, disabled, and she's living in an apartment in Fillmore District. I keep dropping her off there every month after movie night, but I like to get to see her more often. She's short and chubby. She's got an interesting body shape. She's worried about eating too much food. I want to tell her to pack it on. Anyway, she bought us coffee. My stinky blabbermouth neighbor on the second floor. She bought us coffee for movie night, and she brought Costco pizza for the potluck. That was pretty decent. We had cheese pizza. So all in all, a fun night of St. Patrick. That ridiculous, unintentionally funny St. Patrick TV movie from 2000. That was pretty wild. Uh, Thoroughly enjoyable. I think she tried to kiss. She made a smacking sound when I met her on the street as she was exiting my car to her apartment. And she's so short that she couldn't reach my face. So I heard this smacking sound, but it was like a pretend kiss or something. Anyways, my annoying neighbor told me that I shouldn't tell her that I'm living here because she'll think that I'm poor. But I already told her that I'm making $15,000 a month. I have no idea what this guy's talking about half the time. He smells like piss, and he's always saying really stupid anti-Catholic stuff at the St. Dominic's movie night. So I have to keep correcting him all the time as an act of charity. But I dropped him off, and he wasn't blabbermouth this time. He just ran out of my car, so that was good. I didn't have to listen to his nonsense. And yeah, it was pretty cool last night. I guess I'll start watching Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, another recommendation. Laters.